Did you know that the most dangerous place in your home for your heart and brain isn't the kitchen with its knives or the stairs, but your bathroom? There's a silent habit repeated by millions of people every morning or night that can trigger a perfect storm in your arteries, leading to an irreversible stroke in seconds. And the scariest part is that most of us consider this habit healthy and relaxing. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal exactly what science says about the thermal danger zone and how to protect yourself and your loved ones from this invisible trap. Stay with me, because the information I'm about to share could literally save a life tonight. Hello, welcome. It's a great pleasure to have you here. I'm Robert Torniere, an educator and researcher dedicated tirelessly to the study of prevention and longevity. My life's purpose and the central goal of this channel is to translate complex science into accessible, reliable, and practical information so that you can live longer and, above all, live better. Here, we don't work with guesswork. All the content you see is the result of rigorous curation, passing through a filter of up-to-date scientific evidence, because your health is your most precious asset and deserves to be treated with seriousness and respect. Before we delve into today's topic, I need to make a brief disclaimer. Although I am a passionate researcher, this video is purely educational and informative. It does not, under any circumstances, replace professional medical advice. If you have questions about your health, always consult your trusted doctor. That said, I want to invite you to be part of this health community. Go ahead and like this video if you care about healthy aging, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our weekly discoveries, and please share this video. By sharing, you're not just sending a link, you're sending an act of care that could prevent a tragedy in a friend's family. Shall we embark on this journey together? To begin to understand the real risk that bathing can pose after age 60, we need to talk about a concept that cardiovascular medicine calls sudden hemodynamic stress. Imagine your arteries and veins as a complex plumbing system, but one that is alive and reacts to everything. When we are young, this plumbing is flexible, elastic, and adapts quickly to any change. However, as we age, it is natural for our blood vessels to become a little more rigid, a process known as arteriosclerosis, which is not necessarily a disease, but a characteristic of aging. Now, imagine the following scenario. It's a cold winter morning or a cool night. Your house is at a mild temperature, but the bathroom tiles are freezing. Your body is trying to maintain internal heat. At this moment, your blood vessels are constricted in a state we call vasoconstriction to preserve the vital temperature of your organs. Your heart is working at a specific rhythm to pump blood through these more narrowed vessels. So far, so good. It's normal physiology at work. The danger lies in drastic and immediate change. Let's use a practical example to illustrate this. An educational case study. Imagine a gentleman, let's call him Arthur. An active 68-year-old man who loves to start his day with a hot bath to loosen his muscles. Arthur enters the cold bathroom, takes off his clothes, and feels that icy shiver. Immediately, his blood pressure rises slightly in response to the cold. Then, without any preparation, he steps under a very hot, steaming shower. What happens inside Arthur's body at that exact second is a violent physiological seesaw. The sudden and intense heat on the skin sends an emergency signal to the nervous system, ordering rapid and extreme vasodilation. The vessels, which were constricted, suddenly open to release the heat. The blood, which was being pumped under pressure to the brain and heart, suddenly has much more space to circulate and descends to the skin and legs. The result? An abrupt drop in blood pressure. Arthur's heart, trying to compensate for this lack of pressure, begins to beat erratically and very fast. For a young cardiovascular system, this would be just dizziness. For a system over 60, this violent fluctuation, from high blood pressure in the cold to low blood pressure in extreme heat, can cause momentary cerebral ischemia, or worse, the detachment of a small plaque of fat in the arteries, triggering a serious vascular event. Research conducted in Japan, a country with a culture of very hot baths and a significant elderly population, has documented thousands of cases annually of what they call thermal shock in the bath. The data shows that most of these events occur during the winter months, but make no mistake, it's not just the bath that causes this. The shower is also a culprit if not used wisely. The crucial mistake here isn't taking a bath, but rather the way it's done. Temperature difference. The difference between the environment and the water, and the speed at which we expose our bodies to this change, is crucial. When you subject your body to this shock, you are demanding that your heart run a marathon without prior warm-up. Your cerebral vessels, which are extremely sensitive, may not be able to guarantee adequate blood flow in the face of this pressure roller coaster. And here I want to raise an important question for you who are watching me. Do you usually warm up the bathroom before taking off your clothes, or do you enter a cold bathroom and run to the hot water? This small action, which seems harmless, is the key that differentiates a relaxing bath from a medical risk. Beyond the issue of water temperature, there's another mechanical factor that many ignore: head position and physical movement. Often, in the shower, We make abrupt movements, bending down to pick up soap, tilting our heads back to wash our hair. Combined with the vasodilation I mentioned, these movements can cause severe dizziness. But there's a secret about the correct sequence for getting wet that few know, and that can help prepare your body, preventing the heart from suffering this surprise impact. It's a simple technique used in cardiac rehabilitation therapies, which I will explain in detail. But the fundamental principle is never, ever start by wetting your head or chest with very hot water if your body is cold. The shock to the chest and head is where the most sensitive receptors that control the heart rate are located. Arthur, our example, made the mistake of going head first, literally, into the hot water. If he had started with his feet, giving his body time to adjust to the new temperature, the story could have been different. Many people ask me about the correct order to wash your face, and it may seem like a small, almost silly detail, but physiology shows us that the sequence you choose can be the trigger that destabilizes your circulatory system. Most of us learn from childhood to get in the shower and immediately put our head or chest under the water to warm up quickly, seeking that immediate comfort against the outside cold. However, for those over 60, this practice sends a violent shock signal to the temperature sensors located in the neck and scalp. Imagine that your body is like a house with a very sensitive alarm system. When you pour hot water directly onto the control center, of course, causing abrupt changes in heart rate before the rest of the body even knows what's happening. This momentary disorientation of the autonomic nervous system is what causes that sensation of blurred vision or dizziness that many report in the first few minutes of showering and unfortunately ignore, thinking it's just tiredness. There's a technique that gerontology researchers and rehabilitation specialists strongly recommend, something we could call progressive adaptation. Let's consider Margaret, a 72-year-old British woman who participated in an observational study on safe hygiene habits. Margaret used to experience palpitations in the shower until she adopted the rule of starting with her extremities. The logic is simple and brilliant. Upon entering the shower, first wet your feet and legs with warm water. Then wet your hands and arms. Only then, bring the water to your torso and finally wash your hair. By doing this, you are sending gentle messengers to your brain, warning it that the temperature will rise, allowing your arteries to adjust gradually without panic or spasms. This small change in habit, which costs absolutely nothing and takes only 30 extra seconds, gives your heart the precious time it needs to safely and stably recalibrate blood pressure, protecting you from dangerous fluctuations that could lead to fainting or something more serious. Now, we need to address a dangerous myth that circulates widely on the internet and in informal conversations. The idea that cold showers are the fountain of youth and that everyone should take them to strengthen their immunity. While exposure to cold may have benefits for young, high-performance athletes, for a mature body, ice water can act like a hammer on your arteries. The cold shock causes extreme and immediate vasoconstriction. Your blood vessels close tightly to retain heat, which causes blood pressure to skyrocket to very high levels in seconds. This overloads the heart in a way that can be fatal for those who already have silent hypertension or fatty plaques in their arteries. Ideally, the golden point for longevity. The temperature should be lukewarm, pleasant to the touch, similar to body temperature. The goal of bathing in maturity is hygiene and muscle relaxation, not a test of extreme physical endurance. I always ask my students, is it worth risking a hypertensive spike because of an internet fad? The sensible answer is always no. Balance and moderation are your cardiovascular system's best friends. Another habit we need to discuss seriously, and which is culturally ingrained in many families, is the timing of bathing in relation to meals. Imagine the scene. You've just had a large and delicious dinner, perhaps a little heavier than usual, and you decide to take a relaxing bath before bed to help with digestion. What seems logical is, in fact, a critical physiological error. When we eat, our body needs to send a large amount of blood to the stomach and intestines to perform digestion and absorb nutrients. It's as if city traffic were diverted for a major construction site. The priority of blood flow is the abdomen. If, at this crucial moment, you get into a hot bath, the heat causes the blood vessels in the skin to dilate, pulling blood to the periphery of the body to cool it down. Now you have a serious internal conflict. The stomach needs blood, the skin needs blood, and the brain, which is in charge of everything, may end up with a compromised supply. This phenomenon is what we call heat-aggravated postprandial hypotension, and it's a very frequent cause of falls in bathrooms, resulting in hip fractures or head injuries. The brain, realizing there isn't enough blood to all departments, enters energy-saving mode, which can lead to loss of consciousness. An illustrative case study involved George, a retired American gentleman who had the sacred habit of having dinner and then going to the bath. After several episodes of unexplained dizziness, he was advised to wait at least an hour, ideally 2, after meals to bathe. The simple change in schedule completely eliminated the symptoms. The golden rule here is bathing should be an isolated event, never competing with your digestion. If you like to bathe at night, try doing it before dinner or wait a safe amount of time after eating. Respecting your body's timing is one of the highest forms of self-care and biological intelligence. Have you ever stopped to think about how many of these seemingly harmless mistakes we make on autopilot without ever questioning them? It's fascinating, and at the same time frightening, how routine can blind us to obvious risks. But the good news is that knowledge is the antidote. By understanding how your body works internally, you stop being a passive passenger and become the pilot of your own health. We are building a solid foundation for prevention here, where every detail counts. And speaking of details, there's an aspect of your bathroom's physical environment that goes far beyond temperature and water, and which is often the hidden trigger for vascular accidents that no one notices until it's too late. I'm talking about passive safety, and how unnecessary physical exertion in the shower can be the last straw for an already stressed system. But it's not just about grab bars, it's about how you move and breathe during hygiene. Beyond the temperature and timing of your shower, there's an invisible enemy living in your bathroom that has everything to do with how you breathe. Have you ever noticed how heavy and dense the air feels when you take a hot shower with the door and window closed? This excessive buildup of steam does much more than just fog up the mirror. It alters the composition of the air you breathe, reducing the immediate availability of oxygen. For a young lung, this is irrelevant, but for someone over 60, especially those with mild heart or respiratory issues, breathing this moisture-saturated air requires much more effort. The heart, perceiving that the blood oxygen level is subtly dropping, needs to pump faster to compensate. It's a silent stress cycle. You're there, trying to relax, but your heart is running a marathon to extract oxygen from dense, humid air. Therefore, the golden rule of environmental safety is keep the bathroom ventilated, leave the door slightly open or the casement window open. Allowing air to circulate isn't just about preventing mold, it's about ensuring your brain and heart receive vital fuel, oxygen, without being overloaded. And here we arrive at a critical point that almost no one discusses: the danger of physical exertion and the Valsalva maneuver during a shower. What is that? You know when you instinctively hold your breath to exert force, like when trying to open a hard glass jar, or in the case of a shower, when stretching too much to wash your back or scrub your feet forcefully? When you hold your breath and exert force at the same time, the pressure inside your chest increases drastically, compressing the large blood vessels that bring blood back to the heart. This causes a momentary but violent spike in intracranial blood pressure. Imagine doing this in a warm environment, where your vessels are already dilated. The risk of a small cerebral vessel notwithstanding this sudden pressure is real and documented. The lesson we learn from ergonomic studies for the elderly is clear. Showering should not be an Olympic gymnastics exercise. Use long-handled brushes to wash your back and feet without having to contort yourself or hold your breath. Simplicity and the use of appropriate tools are not signs of weakness, but rather signs of intelligence and strategy to preserve your autonomy for longer. I want to share one last didactic analogy so you never forget the importance of this care. Think of your body as a classic car, a valuable and irreplaceable relic. A brand new car, fresh from the factory, can withstand being started cold and accelerating on a bumpy road. But a classic car, full of history and mileage, demands a ritual of respect. You start the engine gently, wait for it to warm up, drive carefully, and avoid unnecessary potholes. This doesn't mean the classic car can't travel far. On the contrary, if well cared for, it runs with much more elegance and consistency than many new ones. Your body is this precious machine. Treating bath time with this mechanical respect, adjusting the temperature, taking care of ventilation, and avoiding sudden movements, is the preventive maintenance that ensures you continue on the road of life, enjoying your grandchildren, your hobbies, and your happy moments, far from hospitals and avoidable complications. Before you close this video, here's a final golden tip. An extremely simple physiological secret I learned talking to hemodynamic specialists, and that I religiously apply in my own life. Many people don't know this, but during a warm or hot shower, even if you don't notice or feel the sweat running down, your body loses a significant amount of fluid through perspiration to try to regulate its internal temperature. This mild and imperceptible dehydration has a dangerous side effect for those over 60. It temporarily thickens the blood, making it more viscous. Thicker blood requires much more force from the heart to pump, and has a greater tendency to form small clots, precisely at a time when your blood pressure may be fluctuating. Therefore, institute the water glass ritual today. Drink a glass of water at room temperature about 15 to 20 minutes before getting in the shower. The simple gesture acts as a natural fluidifier, keeping your blood hydrated and facilitating circulation through the arteries, drastically reducing cardiovascular stress. It's a natural and free vaccine that protects your system from the inside out. And please, combine this with a non-negotiable safety measure. Never lock the bathroom door with a key or latch. If you feel unwell, help needs immediate access to you. Seconds save lives. Well-hydrated blood and an unlocked door are two silent guardians of your longevity. Try this water glass technique today and feel the difference in your post-shower energy levels. Our mission here on the channel is precisely this: to empower you with knowledge that works. We're not here to create fear, but to create awareness. Fear paralyzes, but knowledge liberates and protects. Now that you have this information at hand, you have a power you didn't have 10 minutes ago. You know exactly how to transform a daily risk into a moment of safety and self-care. And I have a very important question for you to leave in the comments. Which of these habits I mentioned today, taking a very hot shower, entering a cold bathroom, or showering right after eating, did you used to do without knowing the risks? Your honesty can help other people see that they are not alone and that it's never too late to change. Comment below. I read and respond to as many as possible because I learn a lot from your experiences. If this video provided you with at least one new piece of information that made you think, then it has fulfilled its purpose. I sincerely ask that you leave a like, as this shows YouTube that this content is relevant and can save lives. And most importantly, share this video with your family group, your friends, and your neighbors. Many times, a stroke or a domestic accident happens due to a lack of information, and you can be the guardian angel who sends this alert at the right time. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving our research and longevity tips every week. I am Robert Torniere, educator and researcher, committed to your health and scientific truth. Remember, aging is a privilege, and aging healthily is a choice we make every day in small actions. A big hug, take good care of yourself, and until our next meeting,